Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session. If you'd like to put your headphones on, you might be able to hear if there's some background noise. Okay. So I'll start again. Welcome to the session. And I'm going to just start really by asking a question. So if I asked you to think about when marketplaces first started, what event, year, or even decade would spring to mind? So I know many people may think that the launch of Amazon in the UK in 1998 was the birth of the marketplace model, but actually it's not really a new concept. It's been happening for many years. If you look back at history, over 3,000 years ago, the Venetians were commerce people, and they used to travel to source the best products at the best price, travel across countries, oceans, to do business. So today, the thing that is different is technology. It's very much the same concept, and the art is in negotiating. So my name's Nikki Lovell, and I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes or so really talking to you about the strategic shift to marketplace models, what the essential elements are to make sure that your marketplace is a success. And really, by the end of the session, I'd like to think that we can answer the question, can you actually integrate a 3P model into a 1P strategy and be successful at it? First, sorry, didn't realise the slides weren't moving. So first, let me introduce Octopia. We're a spin-off of Cdiscount, one of the largest marketplace operators in France, number 2 to Amazon, with over 33 million visitors per month. So marketplace is actually in our DNA. Octopia launched around 3 years ago with the aim to bring marketplace and commerce to all, helping both the sellers, the merchants, and also the marketplace operators, the retailers. Whilst many retailers have a solid 1P model, the e-commerce landscape has dramatically changed. I think we all know that COVID expedited the growth of online commerce. People were forced to shop in a different way, adopt different methodologies to purchase, and that this behaviour is now here to stay. Consumers now have a much higher expectation. They want a one-stop shop. They want to be able to have a greater product selection at the very best price that can be purchased anytime by any means. They also expect a plethora of delivery options, whether that be click and collect, Dropbox, or home delivery, and they want it fast. This all means that retailers are faced with a more challenging way to differentiate themselves. In short, the consumer wants choice, value, immediacy, and convenience. So what do these changes in behaviour mean for the long term? Well, these two charts here show the predicted growth of e-commerce. The chart on the left shows that according to Insider Intelligence, the global commerce market will reach $6.3 trillion in 2023, and it's estimated to grow to 8.1 trillion by 2025, and that is a 28% growth, so that's a huge growth. The chart on the right, though, is even more interesting because that focuses in on the UK, where the projected growth for the UK is expected to grow from £136 billion in 2022 to a staggering 248 million in 2025. That's an average growth of 22% annually for the next 3 years. But the most interesting statistic in this chart is that the marketplace, or the predicted marketplace 3P revenue, so the blocks in yellow, is predicted to almost triple from £50 billion pounds in 2022 to 148 billion by 2025, and will account for over 60% of the total UK e-commerce revenue versus just 37% today. 1P will grow by just 6% over the next 3 years, according to the predictions. So I read only at the weekend that with the Wilko collapse, actually takes retail job losses in the UK to over 100,000 since 2020. So why is that even relevant? Well, with so many high street names having collapsed in recent years, it could be argued that only the fittest of retailers will survive, and those adopting a well thought out e-commerce and omni-channel strategy will actually thrive with those growth numbers. So if marketplace will be the real winner, how can you adopt a 3P and 1P model successfully to get a big share of that pie? Okay. So technology means that the modern marketplace model is much simpler to understand. Here on the left here, you've got the merchants or sellers who all have products to sell. You, the retailer, are the marketplace operator and sit right in the middle, connecting the merchants to the consumers on the right here. You are in control because you understand the needs of your customers, and with a carefully curated assortment can offer this to complement and not conflict your 1P offering. But in order to be successful with this model, there are a number of elements that you have to be experts in. And this slide illustrates some of those things that you really do need to consider before launching. You're going to be able to need to connect, so you're going to have a platform, and you can decide to either build that platform yourself or you buy that platform from a technology provider such as Octopia. That essentially is the foundation of your marketplace. It's your bricks and mortar of the marketplace. You'll have to have a large volume of merchants or sellers who agree to sell on your platform, but that is no easy task, and we'll get into that in a bit shortly. Those sellers will have to have a rich product offering. They've got to offer something different to what you already have. But with well-chosen brands and categories, you can meet your audience's need with quality to match. Here you'll need to think really carefully about how you can complement your existing 1P offering. It's vitally important to get this right. Your logistics solution can make or break your customer satisfaction, so you really must consider this carefully. Your delivery and returns options are key drivers in your customer satisfaction and will directly impact both your product and your customer satisfaction results. We see a typical 50 to 80% improvement in conversion rate for marketplace who show product reviews on their site, or products that show their reviews on the site. We all know that regulation is difficult in each country, and even more so since Brexit. So a marketplace is a great way to explore testing a new market. You can launch without having to make the financial commitments that you would if you were going to do this on your own, ramping up teams, finding the expertise, gaining new knowledge, which all takes time and money and would not be guaranteed to be successful. Octopia can take care of the complexities of cross-border selling, exporting VAT, local legislation and tax engines built into the solution. Launching a marketplace with us is a much less risky option. So we've already talked about the importance of technology. The technology has to be robust. and it has to be robust because it has to deal with peaks, season peaks, whether they're specific events. It's got to be able to handle the golden quarter, events such as Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which now delivers more traffic than Black Friday, Green Monday, Super Saturday, Boxing Day. These are all starting to sound like a sporting fixture calendar. In November and December 2022, sales accounted for $1.14 trillion worth of global e-commerce sales. So building these events and having technology that can handle the peaks is critical. Having a 3P offering ready for this time will give you a greater chance to have a bigger piece of that e-commerce money that is available. All of these events mean that you have to have a robust technology that seamlessly connects to all of your other solutions. So what makes a marketplace successful? We've talked about your vendor strategy. It's absolutely critical. It's pretty simple. Because your tech needs the power to create traffic to your marketplace, it's very simple. If you have good products and you can attract good sellers to have their products, you'll have more customers. And then the more customers you have visiting, the more that they will buy. And then that means that you can attract better sellers with better products. We call this the virtuous circle. It's so simple. The more sellers you have, the more product you will have, and the more product you will have, the more sales you will make. So it sounds simple, but it's not easy to deliver. And that is why vendors, or your vendor, merchant strategy is key to success. It's really hard to attract and retain sellers, and yet they are key. And this is why you need to decide on your merchant strategy. Do you do it yourself, or do you outsource it? There are 3 key things to think about here when building your business plan, particularly if you're going to do it yourself. Number 1, your merchant recruitment cost will depend on the number of sellers that you want to target. So how many sellers do you want? On average, one person can recruit somewhere between 20 to 35 merchants in any one year. And on average, each merchant will deliver around £100,000 worth of GMV per year. So how many sellers do you need to have if you have a revenue target, say, of 10 million, 20 million, or even 50 million GMV? Just think about it. You'll need to recruit a team to achieve this. And how long would that take you to do so? And how long will that take to launch the marketplace if it takes somewhere between 3 to 4 months to source and onboard each vendor? It's actually an art form to be able to do this. So I make no apologies for this being a very busy and a busy slide. And the reason that recruiting your sellers is an art form is exactly this. If we look at the complexities through the eyes of a vendor, so I'm a vendor, I've got products to sell. I want to sell my products. You think it's easy to do that. I'm looking for new channels, new geographies even to sell on. But you, the retailer, contact them and they agree to work with you, right? Sounds simple. Well, wrong, actually. Imagine that me as the vendor wants to sell on marketplace A. Let's just, for example, say Amazon. Amazon will give you very strict rules on how you have to publish and post your products, how you have to manage the catalog entries, the descriptions, how you have to handle the offering and the prices and everything else you have to comply with. Only then will you be accepted to sell on a marketplace. But then that just gives you access to one marketplace. So what if you want to be connected to 2, 3, or 4 marketplaces? You have to go through this process again and again and again. It's very complicated, and that's why most merchants, vendors, will probably be on an average of 2.5 marketplaces only. because it's just too difficult to manage. So what's the answer? Well, we can help the vendors solve that by taking out a lot of those steps. We would handle those processes for you. That for the vendor, they will have to do this only once. So they will have to upload the product details, the catalogue, the KYC. They do this only once. And then we then give them access to connect to multiple marketplaces who are our customers, but only if they're invited to. So why is it important? Well, it means that over 15,000 vendors that have preloaded products in the catalogue have access to more channels. And if they have access to more channels, it means that they will sell more, and then it means that they will make more money, and it means that they will stay with you, or stay with us. An interesting fact is that the churn rate of vendors in the first year on a marketplace sits at over 40%. And that's because it's just too difficult for them to get everything, all of the details uploaded, go live, and then be successful by making enough sales. The vendor churn rate with Octopia is less than 2%. Why? Well, why? That's because we make it easy for them, for the vendors to join and to be successful. And it's also easy for the marketplace operator to scale fast and be successful from day one. But sourcing and onboarding of vendors is only part of the picture. Of course, it's important for the customer to have a good online experience, but they also need to have a very, very good offline experience. Because in the e-commerce world, as we all know, the customer is expecting both online and offline from their overall shopping experience. So imagine that you are the customer and you found a great new website and it works. It works well, you found the products that you want, you've gone through, you've made payment, it all works absolutely fine. But you actually don't receive the product, or you don't receive it when you were expecting to receive it. Or when you do receive it, the product is damaged or something like that. So that's why fulfillment needs to be part of your marketplace strategy. It's part of the customer journey, and you have to be sure that fulfillment is working very well for you. That's why we have built in within Octopia a very strong fulfillment offering and logistic process. We can handle the goods for our merchants if they so want, which means that they're shipped out much quicker. And then when a customer sees that an item is delivered by your company, they will have the trust to buy. We have over 3,500 merchants in fulfillment, and those sellers in fulfillment generally will make about 80% more sales. It's reported that about 75% of your NPS rating is based on the delivery and return experience alone. That's how important it is to get it right. So now that we've established that marketplace revenue is predicted to grow in the coming years more than other channels, that launching a marketplace in the UK is gaining momentum, but it is complex. The key elements that you need to consider are technology, sourcing, onboarding of sellers and products, connectivity to other systems, processes, and to have a solid fulfillment strategy. Why would you not want to have part of the pie? So just to finish up here, just a couple of customer stories. So we work with a number of customers both in the UK and across Europe. And for example, Kingfisher Group, who we work with across Europe, specifically wanted us to help them gain additional product and help them with their cross-border selling. And they would like to have half of their products selling in their respective marketplaces by the end of 2024. We've also helped Casino, who were very delayed in launching their marketplace in France compared to their other competitors. They were slow to market, but to help them get out of the blocks, they negotiated to onboard 220 sellers from day one with a very different product set, but a large range of products. And it meant that when they launched, that they had all the products to be successful, and their marketplace is now very successful within France and delivered ROI from day one. So to conclude, and coming back to the beginning, we said that the difference between 3,000 years ago and today was technology. And so just really to sense check what I've pulled together today, I actually used ChatGPT and just really asked the question, can onboarding a 3P strategy complement your 1P strategy? And these were the things that it came up with. It can give you it's a cost-effective model to offer an expanded product selection that drives price competitiveness whilst delivering revenue growth. And that will allow you, the retailer, to concentrate, to focus on your core business. So I welcome you to come chat to the team on stand L60 if you want to find out more today. Thank you very much.